What is up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new year and the first episode of Off the Shelves of 2023. If this is your first time joining me for this video series, it's been going on for a couple of years now. This is where every single month, or at least bi-monthly, I give a bit of a Blu-ray update, talk about the movies that I picked up over the past couple of weeks, give you my quick review on the ones that I have seen, and in this episode, we're actually going to be doing my horror pack unboxing as well, which is 4 additional Blu-rays that I don't even know what I've got. So, starting right off, I've got probably, 12 titles or so here to talk about. We're going to go over the brand new releases, and the very first one that I got is one of the more surprising movies of 2022, and that is Smile. I actually had no faith in this movie. The trailer didn't sell me. The trailer, if anything, kind of made me not want to see it, and I checked this out at the world premiere at Fantastic Fest. Was really impressed with it. It's one of the better horror films of the year. Still has a few things about it that are a little too familiar that I could imagine being a turnoff for some, but to me it's like the best version of a familiar story within the horror genre, so I really dug this one. It was definitely worth picking up. Can't wait to check it out again. I would definitely give this a solid stream it. But really quick before we continue on with this Blu-ray collection video, before you head out into public, make sure that you have started your skincare routine the best way by using Tiege Hanley, the sponsor of today's video. The older that I get, the more that my self-confidence is directly tied to how well I take care of my skin. Tiege Hanley has helped me develop a skincare routine that is easy to stick to because it is so uncomplicated. Even just starting with their level 1 system gives you a daily face wash that helps to clean off all the dirt and grime, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of all the dead skin, an AM moisturizer to help protect your skin from the harmful effects the sun brings, and a PM moisturizer to make sure that your skin stays hydrated throughout the night. And the uncomplicated part comes in with this instruction card that's included with every single box that lays out all of your daily and weekly routines so you always know what to use, how much to use, and when to use it. And they have over 5,000 5-star reviews from around the world, so you can trust that they provide genuine quality. Become a member now and get 20% off retail price and the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, and you can pause or cancel your membership at any time. And if you use my link down in the video description below, you'll save 30% off of your first box as well as receive a free gift. So take charge of your skin health today with Tiege Hanley, and thank you to Tiege Hanley for sponsoring today's video. Oh boy, now we're on to the big daddy. Now we've got Halloween Ends, and first off, let me say this is the best looking Best Buy steelbook that this Halloween trilogy has gotten thus far, so there's that, right? No? Okay. Halloween Ends, the most controversial movie of the year as far as horror fandom is concerned by a landslide. It was the concluding chapter to this new modern trilogy sequel to the original 1978 film, and fans pretty much went to 2 completely sides of the earth. Either this is the greatest thing this franchise has done in years, or what the fuck have you done? That was trash. I want to burn shit. That was pretty much the 2 opposite ends. I was firmly planted in the middle. There's things about this movie that I appreciated, that I enjoyed it being a little bit different. At the same time, it's a baffling choice. A lot of the things that they did for a concluding chapter of a trilogy. So fell in the middle on it, but it was worth getting because I'll definitely watch it again. Like I said, I liked it more than most, but it was not anywhere close to some of the best horror of the year. It was just a fantastic year. So yeah, had to get it. And like I said, it's a cool steelbook. Stream it. Now, 3 different copies of Terrifier 2. This is something that I really don't do. I'm somebody that I buy the 4K or whatever the best copy is. If it's a movie I love, if it's something I'm checking out just out of curiosity, I'll probably go with the cheaper one. But I get one for the sole reason that I don't have a ton of room left on these shelves. I mean, those of you guys that have seen the video where I did my entire Blu-ray collection, 1,800 plus Blu-rays, yeah, I've bought more since then. So I bought all 3 of these for 2 reasons. 1, 3 very different covers that are all 3 very awesome. This is the regular Blu-ray that you can get off of Amazon or wherever. This is the Walmart exclusive Steelbook, and this one is the Best Buy exclusive 4K. And so that's one reason. The other one is because this is one of the best success stories of horror in the entire year, and I just want to continue to support this movie because I really enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed seeing how successful it's been. So I would give this one a go out and buy it, and I was not a big fan of the first Terrifier, so check out my ranking of all the horror films of this year. I'll put a little playlist up here. I also did obviously a standalone review for this, but this one was a really cool throwback, gnarly, gory as hell slasher flick. So I really dug it. Now we have some older movies that I've just bought for the first time or bought a new version of. We have The King of Comedy, which I bought this because I was doing my top 10 movies of 1982, I believe. And this is one of those movies that I looked at in the list. I'm like, I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch it before I do this top 10. And it made my top 10. I really enjoyed this one. So very similar. Joker took a lot of liberties from this movie. So if you've seen Joker first, this is going to seem like a very similar movie. Obviously, this came first, but it's similar. But it's also, in a lot of ways, this one is almost more relevant to today because it's about this guy who's played by Robert De Niro, who's just a bit of a nut, and he's infatuated with fame and notoriety, and he's obsessed with Jerry Lewis, who's kind of like the big comedian of that time. And so he's trying like hell to get his little 5 minutes of fame, and eventually he just kidnaps Jerry Lewis and extorts his way into getting a little 5-minute spot. And so the way that the movie ends, I won't spoil it, it feels very relevant to today because it's like, oh yeah, that would probably happen. That would probably happen because a lot of people that are fucking rich and famous are famous for doing some stupid shit. So I really enjoyed this one. I would say to check that one out. I would give it a go out and buy it. Now, Warriors! This is not a 4K, unfortunately. It's just a Blu-ray, but it's a steelbook, and I don't know. I just really like this movie. It's one of my favorite movies from that era. If you have not played the video game or watched this movie, if you could tolerate playing older games, I would recommend both. It's just a really cool classic story. This is one of those classic movies that I would say is prime and ready for a modern remake. I know Tony Scott was in the middle of doing one before he tragically passed away, but yeah, this is one of those stories. It's a gang that gets falsely accused of killing the big gang member, the big gang leader of the city, and all the other gangs in the city are trying to kill them as they make their way back to their hideout at Coney Island. That's something that you could really do a cool modern spin on. But the old school movie, while dated in certain aspects, I still think holds up really well. It's always been one of my favorites. So go out and buy that one as well. Now, these movies, I can't tell you jack shit about because I never made it to them. I got this Silent Night, Deadly Night collection that has part 3, part 4, and part 5, and then I picked up the remake Silent Night. I intended on doing a Silent Night, Deadly Night review series back in December, but two things happened. Number one, I started building my shed in the backyard, and that basically took my attention for almost an entire week, and so I ran out of time. Number two was that when I actually sat down to watch these movies, I have reviewed the first one, I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 and immediately just thought, how do you review this? What is here to review? You get the garbage day scene and then you get an hour of recap of the first film. And so I just kind of got turned off by it. So I did not actually make it to even watching these, let alone reviewing them. So this is a review series that I will probably revisit this coming December, 11 and a half months from now. So keep an eye out for that, I guess, if you can remember that long. But yeah, I've never seen any of these movies. I've heard that they're terrible. I've heard that they're so bad that they're good. We'll see where I land in a year, I guess. Another movie I can't tell you anything about, but I believe it was my video of either 1980 or 1981 of my top movies of that year that everybody, like at least 10 or 15 comments said, where's Blowout? You gotta have Blowout. And I've never seen this movie, let alone heard of it. So it's got John Travolta and it's a Brian De Palma film, and I do like De Palma. So I wanted to check this thing out, just haven't had a chance yet. Now on to my 4K double dips. First one on the docket is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now this is one of my absolute favorite comedies, favorite movies of all time. This is one of those movies, like maybe 6 or 7, that I have to watch every single year. Every single Thanksgiving day this movie is on. This past year, I actually got the chance to take my dad to go see it in theaters too, which was really cool. So I actually watched it twice in 2022, but one of the most timeless, heartwarming, genuinely just old school funny movies that I think it's a shame that more people don't talk about it. Like, fans of the 80s know of this movie, but when people talk about great comedies, I really don't hear this movie said very often. Maybe it's because it's a holiday movie, I don't know, but this is absolutely like in my top 5 comedies of all time. So definitely go out and buy it and get this 4K because it was a damn good looking 4K. The other double dip was Pulp Fiction, and a really cool steelbook, by the way. I like this one. So yeah, what is there to say about Pulp Fiction? I mean, fuck, I'm kind of a fan. One of, if not, I would say, is Quentin Tarantino's best films. It's one of the most influential movies ever made, especially in the 90s, and it's one that, as long as they keep upgrading it, I'll keep buying it. So if you don't know what Pulp Fiction is, if you've never seen it, fucking watch it. There's my review. Go out and buy it. And finally, we have TV, and it is the final season, season 6 of Better Call Saul. Now, watching this week to week, I did have some frustrations in the final stretch of episodes once we got into the black and white Gene timeline. I imagine whenever I go to watch this and I'm able to binge through the season, it'll probably be a lot better of an experience, but even if it's not, this is still one of the best seasons of TV that's ever been made. I mean, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are like god-tier TV shows, so even what I would say is one of the lower seasons of Better Call Saul, in my own opinion, it's still better than most shows' best season. So really good final season, really intense, really captivating with the way that they start to wrap up everybody's character arc of both this universe as well as the Breaking Bad universe, and it just ends beautifully. So I would highly recommend this show and this final season, so go out and buy that as well. Now, with all that being said, it is time for the Horror Pack unboxing. So if you guys are not familiar with what Horror Pack is, it is a monthly DVD or Blu-ray subscription service to where you choose a subscription tier depending on what you want to pay and how many Blu-rays or movies you want, and they drop a little gift package on your door every single month of mystery movies. So if you're somebody that's trying to build out your physical media collection, especially in the horror genre, it's a really cool thing to have. And there's actually Blu-rays where every single month you get one that is actually exclusive to Horror Pack. So if you like the rarities, movies that you can't find anywhere else, you'll get one every single month. So with that being said, let's see what we got here. Pull out the first one, and we have, all right, you got Dr. Sleep, the Blu-ray, which also has the director's cut. This was my favorite horror film the year that it came out, and it was one movie shy of being my favorite film. I think it was the same year Endgame came out. So this was a phenomenal sequel that I didn't have a whole lot of faith in. I mean, you think a sequel to The Shining, it's how are you going to do that and at least be somewhat respectable? This is so damn good because it's a really good adaptation of the book from what I've heard, but it's also something that actually ties in to be not only an adaptation of the book, but also is very tied in with the movie The Shining. Because if you don't know, Stephen King hates Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. And so there's a lot of things that go differently in that movie than went in the book, but it somehow finds a way to be kind of a sequel to both. And it's got a great performance from Ewan McGregor. You've got one of the best villains in horror, in my opinion, here with Rose the Hat. And it's just, I can't say anything negative really about this movie. I thought it was awesome. So this is a really good one. The Lodge. I did check this one out and I don't have this one, so that's cool. This is a really creepy little isolation movie. You got a girl that has a past with a cult that's long in her past, long forgotten, and she's left in this lodge with her boyfriend's kids while he goes off and does something. They get snowed in and the kids start to fuck with her. And all these weird things start to happen that make her like have to trigger PTSD. It's a really creepy movie, so check that one out. 13 Slays Till Christmas. This is the Horror Pack limited edition one that I was talking about, so you can only get this here. I have never heard of this film, nor do I recognize anybody on the back. So if you know anything about this, please let me know. 13 Slays Till Christmas. And finally, we have a 2-pack of Gremlins and Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which, the first Gremlins is a classic. The second one I'm not a big fan of, but that does have its fans, so that's actually a pretty cool little 2-pack there. I like when you get the 2-packs and the 3-packs that are in the same franchise. I hate it whenever you get like Gremlins, Critters, and Ghoulies 3, and then you put it on the shelf and you're like, well, do I put it under Gremlins? Do I put it under Critters? That's a tangent. That's a conversation for another day. But anyway, to recap, we've got Dr. Sleep, The Lodge, 13 Slays Till Christmas, and the Gremlins 2-pack. So if you want to check out Horror Pack and get something like this every single month, check the link down in the video description below. And thank you, Horror Pack, for sending that to me. And with that being said, guys, that is it for this month's Off the Shelves. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this and want to check out more, please click this playlist for all of my other Off the Shelves videos. Be sure to check out Tej Hanley in the video description below and start your skincare routine today. Like and share this video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss further Off the Shelves videos. And as always, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean you have to be.